Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today I'm going to be reviewing the ESV Quentel with Apocrypha from Evangelical Bibles, also called Schuyler, because the Bibles are called Schuyler. Let's take a look at this thing. First of all, this aniline Siena calfskin is pretty beautiful. Check it out, really nice. I bring this up every time because of this tool line. When they add this tool line, it throws the Jerusalem cross off center. Now, what I choose to do in this is I choose just to live with the tool line, but I do not train the app, because if you train the app, then look how far off center that cross is going to look. I just can't stand it. I can't deal with that. But this is a really nice leather. This is similar to the Tuscany. It's going to be the same type of leather. It's going to be kind of stiff. One thing I love about the aniline leather is the way that it stamps. Check that out. That blind stamping just works absolutely gorgeously. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you a leather that it compares to. Here's one of my favorite leathers. This is the Badalassi Carlo Pueblo leather, and you can see they are very similar in nature. But this has more of a smooth finish, where this has a little bit more of a sandpapery finish. But as you use this more and more, it gets smooth like this. This feels a little bit thicker than this, and I'm assuming it's because this also has a calfskin liner. So we got calfskin on the cover, calfskin on the liner. This has the brown to kind of accent that sienna color. And I'm going to tell you what, I normally fuss on Schuyler's corners, but that's pretty much rebind level right there on the corners. So good job on the corners. Now, what really makes this text block shine is they dropped the font size down. Now, I'm going to show you the previous Quentel. This is the Quentel as it was, and you can see that font is much larger. This is an 11-point font. But on this one, it's a 10-point font, and it's absolutely beautiful. I love those drop caps. Check that out. Those are just beautiful. The NKJV and the KJV Sovereign, they have beautiful drop caps on them, but because the Sovereigns are printed in mass, sometimes those drop caps won't be consistent like this. These are always very nice, very consistent, and just very ornate and beautiful. But you have this 2-column layout with the references on the bottom. The one thing I wish they do with the Quentel is go ahead and take a cue from the McLaren and go ahead and put those notes on the bottom with it. While I do like the notes separated, I prefer them both on the bottom. What I'd really like to see is for them to use the stride-on format, to where they put the notes on one side and the references on the bottom with a line dividing it. That is an amazing layout. But just from a layout standpoint, I actually prefer this 10-point font. Because look, this to me looks a little more gaudy, a little more big. Now, this is going to be way more readable for those of you that have some eyesight problems, because that 1-point font makes a huge difference. But when it comes down to it, you're not losing a whole lot. Now, why would they shrink the font size down? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, they wanted to add these drop caps. Those drop caps do take a little bit more space, so that is going to cause you to get fewer words per page. I know it's not a lot for one, but when you're having a couple each page, then that's going to add quite a bit. Another thing I've noticed about the drop caps in this is when you get to the Psalms, the drop caps are smaller. Maybe somebody can explain to me why they do that. I've never understood it. But in the Psalms, the drop caps are generally smaller, and then when you get out of the Psalms, they go back to being large. So, yeah, your guess is as good as mine. They do use Beresford ribbons. Absolutely gorgeous ribbons. I love the accent color to the ribbons. I love they didn't go crazy with multiple different colors. They really stuck with the theme. That art gilding just looks absolutely beautiful. As a matter of fact, this is from Reformed and Rebound. And this is meant to mimic a mid-size Schuyler. This is designed to look exactly like a Schuyler. Other than the semi-rounded spine, which is something I'd really like to see Schuyler dive in to do, is that semi-rounded spine. They still stick with the flat spines. But you can see this art gilding looks very similar to this one. This is something you can get custom done by a rebind. If you don't want to pay near $300 for a stock Bible, but you want to sink some money into a rebind, you can get some of these similar options. With this being a full yap, of course you're going to have that overhead spread here that looks really beautiful. Another reason why they reduced this to a 10-point font is because if you go to the back of this Bible, you're going to see that it has the Apocrypha added. This Apocrypha was made sometime after the ESV was completed. They had a committee take care of it. As a matter of fact, if you go to the beginning, they explain how this process was done and how this Apocrypha was actually published in 2009, but it wasn't actually received as part of the ESV until some time later. So you have all your Apocrypha literature, and then in the end you got some note paper. And come on, man, you got this. What in the world? Why even have it? Like micro 2-point font concordance. Like, who can actually read this? But It's there in case you need it. I can actually read it, but it's a bit difficult. And then Schuyler, nobody beats Schuyler on maps. They use the regular paper. This feels like maybe a 40-50 GSM paper, and really nice on the maps. I love that it doesn't have that gloss and all that. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, this Bible, if you want it, is going to cost you $265. That's what I paid for it. Now, there are some others that you can get that are about $10 cheaper. You can get the red goat skin or you can get the black goat skin. Those are going to save you $10 by going with the goat skin. But these are expensive Bibles. The reason they're expensive is because they use some of the best materials in the world, which in turn ends up to be a pretty high price tag. Honestly, if I am the one purchasing this Bible and it's the main Bible purchase I can make, I'm going to go with a Thomas Nelson or a Zondervan Premier Collection, or even with an ESV in the Wellington leather or in the goat skin from Crossway, because you can use their discount, save 30%. You can get a nice premium Bible for under $200. $265 is a very, very high price tag for this Bible. But I will say this, when it comes from the standpoint of an ESV with the Apocrypha, I've got the ESV Diadem, I've seen the ESV Cornerstone. There is not a better option on the market from a text block standpoint. Now, one more thing I want to show you about this leather is the aniline leather can be very inconsistent. Like you see that little line right there, you see that little line right there, that little dot right there. On the back, you see a little dot here, a little dot there, here a dot, there a dot, everywhere a dot, dot. If that's something that's going to bother you, then you don't want to get this leather. You want to go with the goat skin, because the goat skin is far more predictable and it's far more consistent. So if you like a calfskin leather that will age and patina, if you use this, it's going to slightly discolor, it's going to change. If that's something you like, if you like leather with a little character, this is perfect for you. But if you want something consistent, this is not for you. And again, is it worth the price tag? It really depends on your budget. For me, if I only had one option and I wanted the Apocrypha, then I'd probably go with this, just because it's the best one in existence. But because I'm not too particularly concerned with the Apocrypha, there are several other options. Also, you can get a much more budget-friendly SPCK ESV with the Apocrypha. Yes, it does have some modern text. It does look a little weird here and there, but for just about $75 more, you can get a custom rebind, be about $300 to $350 in, and have whatever you want. So the question is, do you want this text block? Another thing about this block, it does have the 28 GSM paper. It is the French Indopaque. The ghosting is very minimal in it, so that's pretty remarkable for a paper this thin. It just really depends on your preferences. This is an expensive Bible, and if this is what you want, it's going to cost you the money. But there are cheaper options. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholas Worth.